Okay, Lab 1 will be using the Chromebook, and we're going to be setting it up, logging into a Google account, and using it to remotely control a standard desktop Windows PC using Chrome Remote Desktop. And then a little comparison contrast between a Chromebook type of computer and a standard Windows computer. Then Lab 2 will be using the Android Galaxy tab. Setting up the Google account, installing a file manager, and then using FTP to wirelessly transfer files between a desktop computer and the tab. Now we have to use one of these rack desktop computers because it has to be on the same subnet as that wireless router sitting on the top of the rack there. So we will be going over to this computer and we'll transfer some files, video, audio, and pictures over to the tab, and then viewing them on the tab, installing Google Earth, and going and checking out the CN Tower using Google Earth on a tablet. Then Lab 3 will be using the Apple iPad Mini, which is over here. Again, setting it up, configuring it with the Google account, using App Store, install a File Explorer, and see how, you're somewhat limited on the Apple, but overall it's very easy to use. And then installing Google Earth and doing the same kind of helicopter ride around the CN Tower as the tab, and maybe doing a comparison on look and feel. And that's about it for Apple. Then Lab 4, we're going to be working with first the Arduino and then the Raspberry Pi. They're both sitting here. They'll be using the Arduino, and they'll do output and input, and they'll be able to control the flashing of the LED using this input here. If we ground it, then the LED stops flashing under program control. Then they'll use the Raspberry Pi, and they'll hook it up, have a look at it, and look at the interfaces, compare it with the original Raspberry Pi, which this one is, compared to the new one, actually, the Pi 2. And then they'll log in and write a little program in Python based on their Hello World example from their first Python class. So that's Lab 4. Then the fifth one, probably the most interesting to me, is we're going to set up a shared wireless connection using one of their lab computers. This computer will have two interfaces. So they're actually going to share the wireless interface on this computer. It could be a 3G, 4G connection to a cell service out in the boonies. And they'll set up a little LAN here so that these computers over here can share that wireless connection. There's two ways to do that. One is by bridging, such that these guys will be on the same subnet as the wireless connection. That will only work if your wireless provider allows you to have more than one IP address. So the other alternative, but it is preferred because everybody's on the same subnet, so you have more capability. Less security if you want to share this internet connection with only one IP over here, and these guys have a separate IP. We have to use internet connection sharing, which is the second method of sharing a wireless connection, using network address translation in that case. Okay, and that's Lab 5.